The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
I'm a big fish in a small pond. Got my days free and my nights long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. As famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Who I am is fine with me.
Okay, here we go. And here we go, everybody. It's Tuesday night, 9 p.m. You know what that means. It's What's the Story with Maria, my favorite hour of the week. How are you? How's it going? All right, so here we are. And we're coming up, we're in August. We're coming up towards the end of August. And for me, that means a couple of different things. So let me just say hello to the people that have checked in. Richard Skipper, my love, how are you? And Ed Kutu of Blade Salon in Rocky Hill, Connecticut. Jay Rivera has checked in. Dominic Pupa, David Slauson, Lauren Moran Mills. Hi, Lauren. I saw Lauren last night. It was so nice to see you. Isabella Raskowski, that's my cousin Marisa. She's going to be calling in. I'm so excited. George Hernandez. Let me say, Leo has checked in. Thank God, all is well with the world. There's Dominic Pupa. He is already feeling festive and maybe a little extra gay tonight with that. Yes. All right, so what do we have? Suzanne Murray, Sergeant Sue. Hi, Sergeant Sue. She called in last week. What a good show that was. Thank you so much, Sue, for shedding some light on all of this. And it was really, really informative to hear you. I love that episode. Cheryl Giuliani Rubenstein, she's checking in from LA. Hi, sweetheart. Okay, so let me see who else we have here. Okay, so here's our gang so far, right? We got a nice little gaggle. Jay Rivera, did I say that? Yeah, Jay's in. Okay, so here's what I want. Rina Cugnali Bergi has joined us as well. How wonderful. So my two cousins are already in, and Dominic Pupa is all excited there because now he's friends with the cousins. And Kenny Holcomb has checked in from Tennessee, from Nashville. We're close to it, I think, Columbia. He's checked in. All right, so here's what I want to talk about tonight. So for everybody, the end, as the summer is coming to an end, Gene Simpson Dunn has checked in from Illinois. Hi, Gene. Cindy Segovia has checked in. Hi, Cindy. Cindy, you're going to like this episode because it's about focusing on Boston a little bit tonight. All right, so the Boston Italians, that's what I'm going to focus on. All right, so at the end of the summer, everybody's got their stuff. Some people that's last push for vacation, as I just had a nice vacation. Look at my tan. I have no base on tonight. This is just a tan. I'm so excited I never have a tan because I work 7 days a week. But I took a couple days off. Judy and I went down to Florida. We went to Universal. We had so much fun. A little expensive, but it was fun. Anyway, okay, so the end of the summer comes and everybody's got their stuff, whatever. Some teachers go back to school early and they get ready and all that stuff. What does the end of summer mean to me? It means two things. The last Sunday in August is one of the biggest days for my family. It's St. Anthony's Feast in the north end of Boston. So anybody that knows what that is, already you got excited. You know what that means. If you don't know what that means, which is a lot of you, what it is, I went to Catholic school, so I don't know if you did, but we had different schools named after saints and a lot of different things. Catholics believe in saints and things of that nature. And so I went to St. Anthony's School in the North End. And St. Anthony's Feast is, I did a little research today because I do like to get the behind the scenes of it. And it's what National Geographic called it the Feast of All Feasts. Can you believe that? So what it is if you've ever been to if you live in New York, you've been to San Gennaro's, okay? But I got to tell you, it's just nothing compare. Kathy has joined us. Hi, Kathy Gumbier. It's nothing compared to the feasts in Boston, and I'll tell you why. San Gennaro's, in New York, you have people from all over, and they go to these feasts because of the food. It's great, it's fun, you walk around. But in the north end of Boston, which is the Little Italy section, which to me is still the most Little Italy of all the Little Italies. I think Philly comes pretty close, and I love Philly. I'm a big fan of the Philly Italians. But there's just nothing that compares to the community of it. A lot of us grew up there. People that did move out always return for these festivals, and there's a tremendous amount of nostalgia that is sewn into all this stuff. Janet Betta has joined us from Connecticut. So what I live out of state, of course, so I've missed a lot of these. In 30 years that I've lived here, I've missed a lot of these events, and because I have to work, I can't get the day off, or I'm somewhere else, whatever it is. But it's one of my very favorite days of the year, the last Sunday in August. My mother's birthday is August 22nd, which this week it falls on Thursday. And so what we used to do when my mom was alive, we used to celebrate her birthday on St. Anthony's feast. We would do all of the stuff that we would do, which I'll tell you about. But towards the end of the day, we would get a cake. I'd go to the bakery. I'd go to Mike's Pastry or wherever we would go, and I would get a beautiful cake from my mom, and we'd also celebrate her birthday. And it was great because everybody's there, like everybody. So my grandparents had 4 kids, and they each had between 2 and 4 kids. I think we were the only ones that had 2, but everybody had 4, and then they had kids. And also, it's not just my immediate family. We're there in the apartment. My grandmother's apartment is in the North End, and there's a great story behind that too. My grandparents came over here with their kids in 1955. Can you imagine how different the world was in 1955? But they came over here. They didn't speak a word of English. They went to night school. They learned to speak English. They became citizens. They worked their tails off. And my grandpa, they lived in the North End, and they lived literally jammed into these little rooms, these tiny apartments. When I think about how many people existed in those tiny apartments, it's just amazing. It was probably 400 square feet or something, like a really small amount. Anyway, so my grandfather had the wherewithal to buy this little tiny lot that fit about 4 cars in probably the first couple of years he got here. And that proved to be a great thing, because when my grandpa retired from the phone company, and all the other Italian men had left the North End with their wives, and the kids were already married and gone, but they would buy houses in the suburbs, or for them and their wives, and these little houses. But my grandma did not want to leave the North End. She refused. She said, all my friends are here. I don't speak English very well, and I don't want to go to the suburbs. I don't drive. What am I going to do there? So my grandpa Jerry Savino, an incredible guy, my biggest idol in my life, built my grandma an apartment above this parking garage. But what he did, which was really smart, is it was just a lot, but he built a garage so that the 4 cars could fit in, and then built an apartment. And on top of that apartment, 2-bedroom apartment that he built with his friends, literally they built from the ground up with their bare hands. And brick by brick, that kind of thing that you hear. On top of that, he made a little roof with a little, kind of a railing around it, so that you could look over. You could sit there and look over and look onto North Margin Street, which is where my grandmother still lives to this day. And it's where we all gather, and that's where St. Anthony's Feast is every year. So let me explain that to you. Let me just check in with our friends. I don't want to miss any, but Gina Tarantino has joined us. Hi, Gina. That's not to be confused with my cousin Gina. So there's another Gina. Meg Peg Gallagher. Hi, Meg. How are you? Gene Simpson says your mom had a direct line to St. Anthony. You are right, Gene. You are so right. Kyle de Blasio. Now, I was looking for pictures today, but I just couldn't. A lot of stuff is digital, so I couldn't find these hard copies because I just was jammed, pressed for time. But so I want you to picture this. If you've ever been to the North End, you know what the North End is. It's just beautiful and quaint and small little places. If you've never been to the North End, it's I'm trying to describe something in New York that would look like it. I kind of Little Italy, kind of, although Little Italy is not as quaint. It's not so much brownstones, but it's these little buildings, brick buildings, and they're very, very small, tiny streets. And when I was a kid, everyone in the North End spoke Italian. Everyone. You didn't really need to speak English. You did when you went to school, but everyone spoke Italian in all the stores we went into, and everyone knew each other. And as I said, I went to St. Anthony's School, which was on Prince Street, and everybody knew everybody. It was just an amazing thing. And then we moved out when I was 11, and my grandparents stayed. But my grandparents would take care of us while our parents were at work. So we would go from being... Eudania Mesa has joined us. Hi, honey. So we would go to our grandparents after school and all that, and they would, make us lunch or snacks or whatever, and then we'd be out again. But here's what happens at St. Anthony's Feast. So, and this year, this is why I wanted to do the show. This year is very, very, very special because of two things. It's the 100th anniversary of St. Anthony's Feast. Now, Jimmy and I were talking earlier, not St. Anthony himself, because St. Anthony has been around since the 1200s. I think 1232 or something like that. But St. Anthony's Feast started in 1919. Two things started in 1919 that are still going. St. Anthony's Feast in the North End and my grandmother. My grandmother was born in 1919. And this year, on November 5th, she's going to be 100. And I'm not even going to say God willing like people do, because my grandmother's going to make it. Her sister was 106, and her brother was 102. So she's got some good genes, and she is very feisty, and she's definitely crossing that finish line. So let me just check in with some people, because I see people are writing stuff, and I don't want to miss anything good. Oh, thanks. Judy said I'm hot. Thank you. No, I wasn't born in 1919, honey. But anyway, although, I mean, it could be, but I wasn't. I know I'm old, but I'm not that old. Philip Rothwell. Hi, Philip Rothwell. How are you, sweetheart? He's checked in. Kyle de Blasio has checked in. All right, so Dominic Pupa, I'm not going to answer that question. That is a question for the book. Thank you very much. All right, so, anyway, yes, 100. So, okay, let me just check the time, because Marisa's calling in 5 minutes, and then Rina's going to call in. All right, so here's the deal. What we do, the saint was brought here. So let's say that we as a group, a bunch of us, Americans, were to migrate. We had to flee our countries, and we would migrate to another land, let's say Australia or something. And we get there, and we miss our traditions. We miss the things we used to do here, like Halloween or block parties, or things we used to really care about, or societies, or whatever it was, clubs, pride, whatever. So we would start our traditions in these neighborhoods that we now lived in with our neighbors from where we grew up. And so we've migrated. So what they did in 1919 with St. Anthony's Feast, and they started many different feasts, but St. Anthony's is the biggest. And that's San Antonio di Padova. Padova is a part of Italy that's towards the north. I'm going to ask Rina. Rina knows all that stuff, but I did do some research tonight. And so they brought over the saints, they brought a relic of the saint, and they started these societies, and they were community-based. And the feasts were to commemorate, they would have food, they would have a mass, and then the greatest thing is that they carry, so they have this statue of a saint, which is pretty big. It's not quite life-size, but it's pretty big. And like about 6 guys carry it on these stands on their shoulders. And they go literally all through the streets of the North End, all up and down. It's a procession. And there's a band that goes, I think it's behind or in front of them, the Roma band. They play these certain songs over and over, and they're amazing. I can't describe it. It's like a sense memory. As soon as you hear it, your eyes tear up, because it's your childhood, and it's your traditions, and it's your parents and grandparents and all the things that you love and care about, and it honors them. So what they do with these saints is they hold them up to certain windows. They know the route as they go out. And St. Anthony leaves at like 11:30 in the morning and doesn't come back till like 11 at night. So he goes from house to house to house, and these Italians, they put money, they pin money together and send it out the window with a picture of St. Anthony, and then it goes, the guys hoist the saint up, and then the person that lives in that house, being my grandmother, has been doing this since they've lived here. Puts this like kind of money thing over St. Anthony, and it's just this incredible thing. And then what my family does, which is amazing and very unique, kind of to our, like every house that does this particular thing, it's very unique to them. We have tons and tons and tons of confetti, balloons, firecrackers, just all this amazing stuff. Now, everybody kind of has their place. It's funny. It's Gianna. Hi, Gianna. That's Gina's daughter. How are you, sweetheart? We're talking about St. Anthony's. So, and then when they hoist the saint up, they start playing the music, and we know our cues, and everybody throws stuff off the window. Now, as I said, we have our places. My place was always at the bottom, so I would film it, because I've always been a person that likes to record and kind of like a like a kind of photojournalist type person. Even when I was a kid, I liked to take a lot of pictures. And then when video cameras came out, the really big video cameras, my Uncle Nicky and I would be downstairs videotaping my grandmother at the window. And when my mom was alive, she would be in the other window. So it would be my grandmother would be in this window, my mom would be in this window, and usually one of the grandchildren would be with my grandma. And it's been my cousin Nicole now for probably about 20 years. I think she's in her mid-20s now. And they do it together. And it's just this thing. Everybody has their place. Some people stay in the house. It's just beautiful. And it's very, very emotional. My sister usually stands beside me. It's very emotional, and there's a lot of confetti. And when we were kids, we piles and piles of this shredded stuff. We would just jump in it, and it was just the most fun thing. And then when the saint passes, and you hear the procession go on, then you know it's like, okay, now we can hang out and eat and all that stuff. So then we go back up to the apartment, and my family's really, really, really fun and funny and delightful and crazy, and my grandmother is the head of that. And Marisa's calling in. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hi, Marisa.
Hi.
How are you? I'm going to ask you. You sound good now. I'm just going to ask you to speak up a little bit, because I'm going to bring you up to the microphone. So everybody, this is my cousin Marisa Savino Raskowski, and
hi, everybody.
And Marisa has been on the show many, many times. If you remember the famous episode, Christmas at the Raskowskis, yes, that's the same Marisa. She's famous on the show. All right, so Marisa, I don't know if you heard some of the stuff that I was talking about just trying to describe to people that don't know what we do there at Nonna's, and throwing the confetti and all that stuff and all the traditions. And now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's such an amazing experience. It's something that I think everybody thinks it's special to them, but I have to say the Savinos do it right.
We really do, don't we?
It's such a beautiful family event on top of the whole, Italian custom tradition and your religious traditions. But our family, it's such a great time for us to get together.
Right, and you really try, like everybody tries not to miss it. Although some of us, like I've missed it a few times because I can't get there from New York. Although this year, I just bought my tickets today. I literally, I'm working till 5 in the morning the night before. Then I'm going to jump on the train and go to Port Authority, jump on the 7 a.m. bus. I'll get there by 11:30. Jump in a cab, go to Nonna's, and just make it in time for the Saint.
You got to make it in time for the Saint. Isn't that the big thing?
That's the thing, no matter what.
Everybody preps for this weekend. We wait for this weekend. There's a big build-up, but the main attraction is, you got to make it in time for the saint.
Well,
And what that means is when the saint actually gets in front of Nonny's house, and then we all watch that beautiful tradition of draping the money on St. Anthony. We laugh, we cry, we listen to the band.
It's
an amazing event.
It really is, right? And then the kids jump around and all the confetti, and it's so cute. It's just the best time. And then we take 1 million pictures.
Yeah.
And you're right. You have to make it. That's why I had to get that bus. There's no. I'm praying it's on time, which it always has been. Knock on wood, it's always been on time. And I just have to get in a cab and get there, and then I have to literally. I end up running.
You better run.
Yeah,
run.
because it gets there at 12, around 12 on the dot. So they don't mess around. The
schedule was tight.
Yep.
You know, the people involved in the society, they take it very seriously.
Yep.
You know, it's like military precision, which our grandfather, Jerry, on up the beach, loved organization.
Yep.
He liked precision, and that's how the society operates.
Right, you're right. He did love that. He was a really organized, he was never late.
That's right.
Yeah, so this is exactly how it is. So I literally when I've made it, when I've been able to get to Boston, I barely make it, and I'm downstairs filming as soon as I get there.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
It's great. And I don't care if I don't sleep. I literally sleep on the bus. I don't care. It's just the greatest thing.
Yeah, you can't. It's everybody wants to make it if at all possible. And it's funny because I have my memories as a kid with, we would buy the school outfit for the birthday at school, but then we would wear it special to St. Anthony.
Wow.
And I remember the first time, as a teenager when we got to go, it's the fun part when we were a kid was we went, it's nice, you kiss all the grown-ups, but then we had to go up to the roof. Get to the roof because we needed to drop the confetti.
Right.
Then it got to the point where, I had my own kids, and it was Nonna's taking you to the roof, and the kids would go up to the roof with my father. I mean, actually, when Billy was a toddler, Nonna Jerry had an oriental rug. You guys, the North End is beautiful, but it's a city.
Right.
My grandfather would pull out an oriental rug, lay it in front of the garage for the great-grandchildren, the toddlers to sit on and watch, and then, the bigger kids would drop the confetti and the balloons, and the little kids would be on, at the end, the bottom of the house. And then now, my parents are gone now, so when I go and I still participate in this tradition, it's I look up to the roof and I see my dad, with kids and, looking down on us. And,
I know, Marisa. We got
excited as the kids, to crying as adults, to laughing again at all the beautiful stuff that we do there.
I know. You're absolutely right. And I always see my mom in the window. She's not there anymore, but I see her.
But they're there, though, Maria. Don't you think
Yes, I know they're there. Even Nonna Janee, I know he's there. I know he's standing on the side. It's really a very, very, very powerful thing. And it's hard to describe, but I think it's one of the things that, I love our family anyway. We may have our little differences, but for the most part, we really love and respect each other. But that is one of those traditions that's been going on since the beginning of time, and I think it's one of the things that holds us together.
Yeah, it's how we do it, right? That's been our entire existence. The original Italians brought this custom over, but for us kids, our age, it's been our entire existence. And how beautiful is it? Once the saint leaves and all that, and we're hanging around, we have lunch with Nonny, but then throughout the day, the second cousins come, the third cousins come, that friend from the neighborhood shows up.
Right, because the garage is open.
To be there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The garage is open, and
it's open. That's the lunch. Yep.
Yep.
Right.
And then we go downstairs. We have a long picnic table, and people show up, like you said, the second, third cousins, because Nonna Judy had 11 brothers, and he was one of 11.
Right.
And I think 2 of them may have passed away when they were infants. But so there was 9 of them that like lived here, and they had kids, and then they had kids, and we're one of those families that really stay together. And
Exactly.
and I love that. I love that about us. I really do.
And it's always been a curiosity, too, because once that garage door opened, you know, nobody was a stranger anymore. It was fun to see family, but then people would walk by and they'd be curious about this little house on top of a garage. And, like, you know, Nonna used to give everybody a glass of wine, who loved the homemade wine, who brought cookies. Now Uncle Nicky does it, you know, people walk by, he welcomes them in, who gets a beer, who gets a...
I know.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And, you know, it really is the true meaning of community. Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
the way it used to be, like, the world has changed a lot in that people are shyer. They're not as quick to introduce themselves to someone they don't know because they're just shyer. They've been raised differently, and we tend to keep to ourselves more. Not me, because I'm a chatty Cathy, but you know, and you too. You and me. Forget about it.
Me too. Yeah.
But I just love that on that day that garage door is open, and that means come in and say hi. And you know, if you need anything, it's really pretty cool. And Nonni stays upstairs. You know, she's older.
And the grand dame, she stays upstairs, and those that want to greet her go up. And
yeah.
But how cute is she? I mean, the day begins with, you know, we all show up, things get set up. But then, you know, I go downstairs like you do, and we watch from downstairs. The kids go to the roof.
Yep.
All of that activity happens. But then before we have lunch, God bless her, she makes a speech about...
She always makes a speech.
The beauty of this family and how she's responsible, essentially, for all of us being there. And she's right.
She's right.
She's right.
She always says... Yep, she always says if I hadn't fallen in love with Jerry Chiriago, we because of our romance, she says the romance, look at what we did, and she's right. And you know,
think about that. Your audience should think about that. You have a woman, she's 100 years old, and I'm telling you, when she talks about meeting this man, you feel you are caught up in the love story.
Yes, you are.
You are, and kids. I mean, we're from, you know, the oldest in their 50s to the youngest, who's like 2 now. You're enraptured by her story, and she always talks about how she fell in love with this man, and they have this life, and here we are, and you know, you look down the table, and there's 50 of us down the table.
Yeah, there's really. We have to count this year. We have to count how many there are. Because we're growing, because now people are having babies and more babies. And it's true. It's just incredible. And I love what you said, that everybody has their own story. You know what I mean? Like,
we all,
you know, like
there's a lot of work goes into it, though, too. A lot of work goes into it. I do very little, but show up and enjoy.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
There are fights behind the scenes that...
Well, that's
cutting confetti and
that's why we. I know, you're right. Everybody contributes in a different way, and actually, Rina's going to call in a couple minutes, and she's going to talk about that end of it.
She's like the production manager.
She is the production manager. You're right. Oh my God! And when I do the show in Boston, I call her the line producer. You're right.
Yeah.
She is the production manager.
She puts up with Jerry, who's my brother. I mean, there's, and Gianna puts up with both of them. So, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's true, and everybody has their different take. And even my dad now has been coming the last couple of years, which he never used to come.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like crowds.
It is a little overwhelming.
He's kind of shy, my dad. So and he doesn't like crowds. But now all of a sudden he's like, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Well, that's because him and I go to our political discussions.
Oh yeah.
We have to touch on all our political things.
Yeah, well, he loves you.
Yeah.
So he will be there.
What a beautiful thing. Yeah.
And then I got a bus ticket for the next morning at 10 because I got to get back to work. But
really?
Yeah, but I was going to try to leave like at midnight or something, but there's no bus coming back. So I have to wait till either 6:30 in the morning, which that would be crazy to try to get someone up, So I'm going to leave at 9, but I don't care. I'm so excited. And then we have like
I'm
tons
so
and
excited you're coming home for it.
I know, honey.
People will be so excited to see you.
And you know what? We might have to Facebook Live, me and you from it. We might.
Oh my God.
We're going to do, especially this year, we'll Facebook Live as it's actually happening, as the Saints going by.
Yes.
We'll do that.
I think so.
We'll broadcast me and you. So,
yeah.
Anyway, Marisa, thank you so much, honey, for calling in last minute. I just really wanted it to be, I was having these really strong feelings of like, I have to do this because it's so important and so...
No, I'm so glad you did.
And people that have never experienced it don't always know, but we can describe it for them. And if they're there,
You can. If you're in Boston during ski season, go. And you'll be overwhelmed by how fabulous, there's people from all walks of life there having a good time, listening to music, eating good food. It's worth a trip to see it and experience it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, sweetheart, I'll see you on Sunday. I can't wait. We're going to have a great time.
All right.
I love you. Rena's calling in. Rena's on time. Rena is on time. And you're right. She's the production manager.
Yes.
All right. I love you, honey.
I love you.
I'll see you Sunday. I can't wait.
I'll see you Sunday. All righty.
All right. Bye, sweetheart.
Bye.
That was my cousin Marisa Savino-Raskowski. Now that was Rena is calling in. Dominic Poop is having a field day. He loves this stuff. All right, stop it, Dominic. Dominic loves the Ginas, the Renas. Actually, Dominic Poopa now has become Facebook friends with my cousins. I see that this is happening. Hi, Peter Iannello. He has joined us. Love you too, Peter. You're going to like this show because we're talking about St. Anthony's feast and we're talking about Italian traditions. John Fitzgerald has come in. Now, my cousin Rena is calling from Massachusetts. Hi, Rena. Are you there, honey? Oh, I lost her. Hold on. Rena? All right, she'll call back. Maybe I'll call her. Let's see what happens here. But anyway, so that was Marisa that just called a minute ago. Rena, you there, honey?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Hi, sweetheart.
Oh, good. Hi.
So, everybody, this is my cousin Rena Berge, Rena Crignali Berge. Rena, did you hear what Marisa said about you being the production manager?
I love it.
It's true, though. It's true. Now, we were talking about what Marisa and I were talking about was that St. Anthony's, we all have different angles. We come from different places. Mine is that I got to get from New York there in a matter of hours, and it's got to happen, and I'm running through the crowd to get there, and some people are setting up, some people are downstairs filming. So tell everybody what your job is, Rena, and it's very serious, everybody. Listen up.
My job, I don't know. There are very many hats that I wear for everything going on. I think part of it is just I'm a planner by nature.
Yep, you are.
The other part is that I do it for work, so I even perfected it even more. But I just, even when I try to back off and be like, you know what, whatever. If people bring confetti or they bring balloons, whatever happens, and then I go, nah, I have to email everybody.
I know.
Email blast, like, everybody needs to bring some confetti. I have 200 balloons, I have balloon netting.
200 balloons. Did you hear that? 200.
Yeah, so we have that. So I sent out email or text rather to all the cousins, and I get the certain emails back. And like, well, what kind of confetti? I'm like, all right, here's the link to Amazon. Just press send, and you get it delivered to you.
Oh my God! Now it's gone to Amazon. I love this.
I don't have time to be looking around at the various stores. I got to get things done, so I ordered my confetti through Amazon.
I love it though. Good for you. You see, we're coming into the future now. All this stuff has happened.
We are. I even bought an electric balloon inflator.
What?
It's not helium. So you could get like 5 balloons done in 1 second.
Oh my God! And wait, didn't you say that you had some kind of confetti cannon?
Yeah, that's right. Jerry's son John always brings the confetti cannons, but we found out where he got them, and we got a few more of them too. So poor John didn't have to be the only one buying them.
Oh my God! So this is serious because this is the big one, 100 years. And I got to show you. Stay here for a second, Rena, because I'm going to hold up the sign that you sent me. So this says, look at this. This is my grandmother's window where my grandma peeks out and she has the money that she hangs out. My mom used to be in the other window. Nicole Savino, Uncle Nicky's daughter, is helping Nonni. And so now, who made this beautiful sign?
Jerry had it made, my cousin Jerry.
This is a banner. This is not a sign. It goes across two windows. It says Savino Family Celebration. And then in small print it says 100 years of St. Anthony's Feast. Liberuccia Savino, 100 years. That's my grandma. Look at how cute she is. She's 100. I'm going to hold this up. Oh my God. Look how cute she is. Well, she's going to be 100 in November. But if you ask her, she would say in Italian, mi stupiro accendo, which means she put, when she celebrates, like last year she was 99, but she said, I put my foot in 100. So I'm walking towards 100. That's how she's always been. And I think it's one of the reasons that keeps going, because she's already in the next year.
Yeah. Do you remember when we gave her, for her 80th birthday, we gave her a 50th birthday celebration?
We gave her 50, because our whole childhood she used to say she was 49 and she wouldn't go to the next year. And we were like, Nonni, you can't keep doing that because most of us we're going to pass you. It's like, so what we did was, on her 80th birthday, we threw her a 50th birthday party with, balloons that said 50. And she loved it. She was like, okay, I'll be 50 now. But now she kind of owns it. She kind of owns the 99. She likes it.
Yeah, she's transferred over, because she even lied to her doctors. I would be with her at a doctor's appointment.
She used to lie to her doctors. I love that.
I'm like, you can't lie to the doctor.
Jesus.
What does he need to know my business? I'm like, because he's the doctor.
He's a doctor. He definitely needs to know your business, Nonni.
But now she's transferred over to the other side, and I'm very proud of her 99 and 100 years. And she even says, I'm 100, I reached 100. I'm like, pretty soon.
Wow. I know, she's very excited. And it's going to be really, really, really something this year. I can't wait. So you will be, where will you be? I'll be downstairs. Marisa will be downstairs. We'll be filming up, crying, of course. I'll be running through the crowd, trying to make it on time. My sister usually is beside me. I think Lisa and Ronnie are down there. And where are you, Rena?
You know what? I switch every year. Sometimes I'm up at the top. And
wait a minute. You switch? So you're like what they would call in the restaurant business a floater.
Floater?
Oh my! Yeah, wherever you're needed, you float to.
That's who I am. I'm also ambidextrous. I can go with the left hand, the right hand.
You really, Marisa was right. You really are the project manager.
Yeah, so when I'm on the ground and watching the balloons, I get very emotional because I also look up at the windows and I see Zia and I love the whole thing. I feel the emotion on Nicole's face, on Nani's face, the whole. But when I'm up at the top, then I kind of like that perspective of throwing the balloons down and seeing the people's faces as they look up. And, the poor guys who are carrying St. Anthony on their shoulders.
Right.
They're probably like, oh, like the confetti, here it comes again.
Here it comes again because they get showered in it.
They get showered with it.
I got to tell you. Listen, guess who came on? Guess who came on as we were talking? Ophelia Ventresca Reddy is on. Hi, Ophelia. She's one of our kumaras that comes in. She says hello. And Liliana DeRamio. Liliana, you were there, I think, last year. Please, I hope you can come by. She's a childhood friend that I grew up with. We used to play hockey together. We had so much fun. Now I think she works for the courthouse. So many great people come. Let me see. What time do we have?
Yeah, that's always so. An extended family that we don't get to see all the time. Because everybody's focused to friends, neighborhoods and states or whatever. But the people in Massachusetts all come back to this. And you from New York always come back to this. This is awesome.
I try to make it as many years as I can. There are a few years that I haven't been able to, and I'm always really sad. And I really feel like I missed it.
And see, I have to trust that there's just a little less bright when it's not there.
Oh,
pretty special, yeah.
thank you, honey. Well, everybody in our family's special. I got to tell you, we got a really good bunch of people. There's really not a bad one in the bunch.
It's funny what Marie said about me, talking to Jerry or whatever. Jerry and I would be dangerous together if we plan things because we really are. Like, we think of all the different things and we cover different bases. But he said to me, like, hey, what do you think? Should we send out a blast on the Facebook page? We have a family, Savino family one. And he said, should we do that so that everybody knows to come? I'm like, Jerry, I already did it. It's
oh,
done.
my God. Yeah, you were on it. And it's great. And you know what? I saw that Joe posted. He's excited.
Yeah.
Everybody's sharing it. Like, we have so many extended cousins, and everybody shared it. It's really great. And if you're one of our friends that lives in Boston, and you know where my grandmother's apartment is, please stop by. We'll have the garage open. Please stop by. We would love to see you. It's really a great thing. All right. Well, Rina, I can't thank you enough for calling in, honey, and just filling us in. And you see, Marisa was right. You are the project manager. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love you very much, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, sweetie. I love you so much.
And I'll see you Sunday, all right?
Can I give a shout out to Rodriguez?
Oh my God, did you hear that? Rena was giving a Leo shout out. Everybody, let's say it together. Even out there, I don't care where you are. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. Leo Rodriguez. Oh my God, that's exciting. I haven't seen Gina come on yet, though. I'm going to scroll back once I hang up and see if Gina came on. Because if she did, then we all have to clap from our apartments. I hope that Gina and Joyce can make it. I hope they make it. It's hard to find parking. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That is the problem.
If we could solve that issue, that would be all set.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine? That would be incredible. But...
All right. Oh, and I don't want Dominic Pupa to get jealous.
Well, Dominic Pupa is already starting stuff. I can't even tell you what he's already written. He is always have to disrupt everything. I don't even know if this guy ever works. I mean, all I see him always is lounging in a caftan. I'm like, do you have a job? But anyway, Thomas Lyman has joined. He's from Boston. He's from South Boston. Hi, Thomas. I'm gonna be in the North End this Sunday, Thomas, for the feast. Maybe you swing by. All right, Rena, I love you, honey. I'll see you Sunday, okay?
All right, love you too. See you soon.
Bye, sweetie. All right, Rena Crunali-Berge, my cousin and project manager with Jerry Savino for the feast. All right, let me scroll back here. We are Madalena Savino. Speaking of Jerry, Madalena Savino is Jerry's wife, and she is a powerhouse. I tell you, she seems quiet, but boy, she's a powerhouse. Hi, Marilyn. How are you, honey? And she has a cute little granddaughter now, who I think your granddaughter is the youngest member of our family now. Sienna, right? Sienna Rose. All right, so here's what I want to, let me see. It is time for the segment of our show called Go Ahead, Keep Eating. Now, I had to go with the theme of St. Anthony's. And the theme of St. Anthony's, of course, the food there, I wish I could have had all the food there. It's amazing. So we have cold cuts, of course, because God forbid Italians don't have cold cuts, salamis, and mozzarella. What would we do? But I couldn't do all that tonight. Although I do have salami in the refrigerator, but I'm not going to run and get it now. All right, so this is what I made. Because there's a lot of things. There's pizza, there's baked clams, there's raw quahogs, there's calamari, a lot of seafood in Boston, and corn on the cob, just everything. There's zeppole, but the most famous of all things that they have there is sausage and peppers. Now, I know I've made sausage and peppers on this show before, but I had to do it because that's what I go for immediately. Sausage and pepper sandwich. So what I do is I don't just have like one sausage, because I like to get hot and sweet, cut them up, and then what I do, it's different than the feast. There they just grill them on the grill, and they throw they throw peppers and onions. What I did, because I like to spruce it up a little bit, is I chopped them up, then I cooked them with a red wine reduction, a bunch of spices, Italian spices, and Vidalia onions, red, yellow, and green peppers. There is your sausage and pepper sandwich. How beautiful is that? So that is what I cooked for that. What did I make for salad? You know I love my salads. I made a beautiful salad of Boston lettuce, because the feast is in Boston. Boston lettuce, the little bocconcini, which is, these are little individual mozzarellas, delicious. These little cherry tomatoes are called Twilight tomatoes because they're darker. They're like heirloom, almost like heirloom. Now they've created these beautiful heirloom kind of cherry tomatoes. They're so good. And then my favorite olives, the Sicilian olives. Of course, this is a classic, beautiful salad that I've created for this special event. I'm going to put extra virgin olive oil and balsamic, simple and delicious. There's oregano in there, and basil, which for the American kids is basil. All right, so there's that. Now, what did I make for dessert? I'm still trying to get in that bikini. So I will, I'm not going to be on this diet forever. We were on vacation last week. Judy and I went off the diet for a little bit. Now we're back on it because I know I'm going to eat at St. Anthony's Feast. So I tried to be good with the dessert. I made myself a little parfait of sugar-free Jell-O and whipped cream. So I'm going to enjoy this. Look at how beautiful that is. You see, that's sugar-free so that I don't have to gain all my weight back on dessert because I want to save it for the cannolis at the feast. And that's what I'm going to be eating. I'm saving my calories for the cannolis. Here's a hashtag, saving my calories for the cannolis. I'm going to put that on it. All right, so that's what's happening. Let me, I do want to fill you in. There's so much to tell you. Oh, my God. So now Mandar Chick Magnet has joined us. I saw Mandar. I saw Leo and Mandar interacting. Maria Filiomeni, who I adore, who I saw last night, says you come from great genes. Maria, I got to tell you, if you and I, we have to have lunch soon. I'm going to be back in Morristown for the season, the fall season at school. Maybe we can have lunch one of those days before I go to class. You and I have figured out our lineage because I think we're definitely related. When I see your family pictures and my family, I'm like, we are related. So now what I want to tell you about, yes, everybody's yelling Leo Rodriguez. Jeffrey Cooper's joined us. Hi, Jeffrey. He's a sweet manager at the Duplex. Shannon Rackow. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? All right. I wish I could go to Boston. I know. It's just so much fun. All right. So let me just fill you in, American kids, on what this is. A lot of comments. We're getting a lot of comments. Gene Simpson, cannolis. I know. Saving, yes, thank you, Rina, for hashtagging saving my calories for the cannoli. All right. So St. Anthony, American kids. Who is St. Anthony? I don't get it. Who is this guy, right? So in the 1200s, St. Anthony was born. He was born in Portugal, in Lisbon, Portugal. He was of a different order priest at the time, and I can't remember what it was called. I'll think of it in a minute. Maybe Augustine, the Order of Augustines. But what he did was he went to Morocco to try to convert people to Christianity. And what he was really known for was he was an amazing speaker. There were times when no one else would speak because they were nervous, and he would always take over the podium, and he was extremely eloquent. So then he went back to Sicily. He went to Sicily from there and became a Franciscan, which are my favorite priests. I'm going to show you something. This is the candle. I have my St. Anthony candle burning tonight. I don't know if you noticed this. But here's St. Anthony. That's what he... So Franciscans have the robes. And when I went to St. Anthony school, they were Franciscan priests. They have the long robes. And they're very gentle souls. They're beautiful guys. And really nice people. Really, they're known for their kindness. They're not controlling and all that crazy stuff that goes along with the church. They're very different. Anyway, so St. Anthony then went up to Padua. He ended up in Padua because he wanted to meet St. Francis of Assisi. They became great friends. St. Francis is my second favorite saint. He's the patron saint of animals. And I found out, I did some research and found out why St. Anthony is the patron saint of lost things. Because one of his assistant or whatever, another priest, stole his, it was like a book of Psalms. And he took off with it. And St. Anthony was very upset because he was very attached to this book of Psalms. And this is the miracle that occurred. When the guy was like way, way far away up a hill, St. Anthony appeared to him like an apparition. Crazy. And the guy dropped the book and like ran back. And brought him the book and said, here. I know you figured me out. But it was like this weird thing. So that's why he supposedly is the patron saint of lost things. But it does work. St. Anthony, come around. Something's lost and can't be found. It must be found. You've heard that before, and you've heard me say it, and Marisa say it, and my family. So that's the reason for that. So I did want to tell that story, and I thought that was very important. Here's another crazy story. This is one of those weird stories, but it's also part of the miracle. So after he passed away, they buried him, of course, and then 30 years later, someone went into the tomb, and of course his body was decomposed. But the only thing that was intact and untouched was his tongue. Now I know that sounds like creepy and weird, but he was known for being an incredible speaker. So they believe that that's what that miracle was about too. Now whether you believe in this stuff or not, and probably most people don't believe in it, and I don't know if that's true or not, but what I do know, and that's not important. What's important to me is that my family and the Italians that we know came together because of this saint who was a very kind man, as was St. Francis of Assisi. And because of that tradition, we get together every year. Now, St. Anthony, the feast of St. Anthony was brought over here by certain Italians from Padua and the regions of Italy that also we were from, like Avellino and Naples. And they were huge fans of his and believers. And so he's part of our growing up, part of the fabric of our youth and the nostalgia of it. And my grandmother was born in 1919, as was the same year as this festival. So I want to look at this clock because, all right, we have 6 minutes left. I'm going to try to do this. I want to show you, I did a little research and I thought, you know, I'm all about wow, can you imagine how life was different then? And it really, really was so different. These are just some of the things that have been invented in the last 100 years. So these things did not exist in 1919, and all this change has happened since my grandmother was born. And I'm going to show you this picture again. This is the sign. If you're in the North End, you'll see the sign on North Margin Street, and that's where we'll be. Okay? Liberuccia Savina, that's my grandma. 100 years of St. Anthony's Feast. And I'm going to read some of these things that, not all of them, of course, but aerosol spray cans didn't exist. Blenders didn't exist. Ladies and gentlemen that I know, bras did not exist. A Zippo lighter, a digital video recorder, a Teflon pan did not exist. Get this, Judy, sunglasses did not exist. A drip coffee maker, a pop-up toaster, a leaf blower, Dad. My dad loves his leaf blower. A DVD player, chainsaws, electric razors, a stopwatch. A stopwatch did not exist in 1919. Kodak carousel, a boom box. Boy, I loved my boom boxes in the 80s. They did not exist. Binoculars. Can you imagine? When my grandmother was born and when St. Anthony's Feast started in the North End, binoculars did not exist. How about this one? A zipper. A zipper did not exist. Okay, people use buttons or they lace things up. Isn't that crazy? A lunchbox did not exist. A kettle grill, smoke detectors. How about everyone in my family who does this for a living? Hair dryers did not exist. Tape recorders, CB radios, ballpoint pens, cassette tapes, Kindle e-readers, Sony Walkman, Game Boy, floppy disks, Polaroid cameras, MP3 players, pocket calculator, digital HT, TV, cordless drill. That's for you. Electric can opener. Oh my God, what would we do without that? A microphone. So I wouldn't have a career. Okay? Digital cameras, microwave ovens, we would be lost. LED, CD players, a computer mouse, so we wouldn't be able to move things around. A camcorder, an electric guitar, Billy Goffey, A pager. We don't use those anymore, but we used to use them in the 90s. Remember pagers? Mobile phones. Hi-fi. How about this? My mother had one of these Singer sewing machines that she's no longer alive, but we still have it in the house. It's amazing, okay? So this was, in the 30s, 33, but it was before my grandmother after my grandmother was already born. She was already well into being a teenager. Answering machines, TV remote controls. Yes, we used to have to get up to change the channel, kids. Can you believe that? A modem, portable air conditioner, personal computer. Modern lie detectors. We're going to be using those soon. Get ready. Electric kettle, self-winding mechanical watches, jet engines, helicopters, artificial heart. Amazing, right? Kidney dialysis machine, food mixer, alkaline batteries, power steering. Didn't exist. Flight recorder, hearing aids, World Wide Web. I'm skipping some of these. Lithium batteries, Apple iPods, you get it. Palm pilots, we don't even use those anymore. Pacemakers, breathalyzers, car radios. Oh boy, multi-socket power plug and speech recognition machine and a vacuum cleaner. Holy moly. So those things did not exist. My grandmother's going to be 100 on November 5th. St. Anthony's feast has been going for 100 years. I want to thank all the Italians that kept that feast going, all the generations that didn't give up, that we kept our communities close. We had a lot of differences in other ways, but our hearts were together when it came to family and faith. And it was the right kind of faith. I have to stress that, because there's so much stuff that's out there that is about controlling the masses. It wasn't like that when we grew up. It really wasn't. These saints that we believed in were about love and caring for one another and community. And I still feel that it's like that. So we're going to be down there at St. Anthony's Feast. Please come and visit us. Jimmy, how much time do we have? I think we're almost done. I'm going to say we're almost done. So I want to thank everybody. And I also want to remind you quickly. And Jimmy, if you have to cut me off, cut me off. It's back to school season. Okay, one of the great organizations that I love is called Operation Backpack, and what it does is it gives underprivileged kids backpacks full of age and grade appropriate supplies that they need. Go and look it up online, Operation Backpack, and they do exist in Boston as well, but it's one of my favorite organizations, and around now, kids need backpacks. And I want to thank you for staying with me the whole hour. I hope you learned something if you didn't know it. And God bless my grandma, Nonna Liberucci. I'll see you Sunday. My family, I'll see you Sunday. And you folks, I'll see you next Tuesday night. Okay? I believe Will T. and Hall is going to be joining me as my co-host. I love you guys. Thank you for everything. And I really appreciate you. Oh, and happy birthday, Jimmy Bell, yesterday.